Little Trent's coming along down the road. You're out hitting balls with him. 5 years old. What do you do with him on the tennis court? And this is going to be, it'll seem simple, to make sure he always loves the game.
Wow, what a deep question.
Could be, it could be a daughter as well. Make no mistake. I have one of each.
Well, listen,
Yeah, sure. While you think about it, I'll give you a little minute here to burn on that one. Like I have a 5-year-old son. He's my youngest. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I have yet to, for almost for that same reason. Like I love the game. I'm 42 years old, and I have a lot of guys that I grew up playing with who don't play anymore because they don't love it. And I love this game dearly, and I love it so much that I almost want to protect my kids from falling out of love with it. So like I don't push too hard to like I'm like, hey, you want to go outside and hit tennis balls? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because if you do it, I want you to enjoy it. I want it to be a place that is fun and safe, not a thing you have to go do. So I'm
Right.
interested to see your. That's a very poignant
Yeah.
question because it's
And
a.
and and let me qualify it because here's where I was going with it. What did Bruce do with you?
so
And I
that's
think
what, yeah,
that's really where I'm coming from. It what
yeah,
made him right? What made you love it? With the dad that was a coach, dad that was that was a player
yeah.
that kept you in it because at some point you had to get addicted to it, but you had to love it first, right? So that was where I was going with it.
Well, yeah, that's immediately where my mind went to was, and this is perfect because I mean, I had the best tennis parents I could have ever asked for. And you guys know better than anyone else. Not all parents are good tennis parents, and probably a majority of them are not good tennis parents. And they drive their child away from the sport rather than to the sport. And what my dad did with me specifically, he obviously introduced me to the game, he taught me the game, and as an immature little kid I did not like listening to my dad. And when it got to that stage, he passed me along to Will, and he let Will take full control, and he did not pressure me. If I didn't want to play, cool, you don't have to play. And I mean, like it almost makes me emotional, like how much support like my parents gave me. I mean, my dad and my mom as well, just relentlessly financially supporting me. And if I wanted to quit the next day, they would say no problem. I mean, they would of course, want to talk to me about it, but um, I mean, and I can't imagine my dad inside. Yeah, that's actually funny. I was talking to a friend the other day, like, what sport do you want, your kid to play one day or whatever? And I was thinking to myself, like, how hard would it be for my child to play tennis because I know so much about tennis, which
Yeah,
is almost like
yeah,
it almost hurts you a little bit, right?
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
sure my dad was in the same position because he knew so much. And I can't imagine when you know so much about tennis and that your child who you love so much is doing the wrong thing over and over. And when you tell him, he won't listen, right? And so you have to have the humility and you have to have that personality to be able to let go and trust in a coach that, which was ultimately Will, who, I mean, who was absolutely, I mean, who couldn't be more perfect for me,
100%.
and what I needed. So, um, like that's just, I mean, my parents were absolutely perfect. I mean, my dad was phenomenal, and I will never, I'll be forever indebted to everything that
Yeah.
both my parents have done for me, and hopefully I can do the same for my children someday because I would love to introduce them to the sport of tennis, and um, hopefully they can have the difficult experiences that I had as well as the beautiful
Right.
experiences I had.
Right.
And that's all I would ask for my child is just to
Yeah.
enjoy those moments and embrace those experiences because they're really hard. They're really hard, man. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
but gosh, does it make you a better human being tenfold? So,
Yeah.
but that's a great question, Tori. That was
Yeah,
a great question.
that's awesome. I've known your dad for many, many years now, and knew that he was a coach. Knew he was the director for many, many years as well before he went to his other business. And I
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's funny, Mike Gandolfo, Joseph's dad
Of
was
course.
also a very good tennis player, a
Phenomenal
pro player,
player.
played. And I give those dads and a few more like them, Adeline Flack, obviously, Doug was her dad. Doug was top 50
Yeah.
ATP. And I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, I've had coaches who were dads, coaches that were pro players in tennis. And the best thing they did was they trusted me or whoever the coach was in the process. And you can't say more. There isn't a better level of respect for a guy, for dad who knew, who played, who knows as much, if not more, than the person delivering the message on that side of the net. And they allowed that process to happen, right?
Yeah.
Bruce allowed us to coach you. He allowed Will to be in that driver's seat with you. He wasn't hanging around the fence. Hey, did you mention this? No. Hey, what about? He was just dad. And I
Yeah.
think, and that you said humility. I think it also took a great deal of trust, but it also took a great deal of he also knew he found the right coach.
That's
And so
so
he
true.
found the guy that he knew would help you the most. Will, you are fiery and hyper and could be up or down. Will was pretty even keel, and he was always very not bad. You hit a good shot, not too bad. That was bloody good right there. Like he was just in
Yep.
his typical English accent, right? He was
Yep.
never got too could have hit that ball a little better right there. Like he was just it was probably just what you needed. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And Attila who did a lot of work with Joseph. I mean, same thing. Attila was just, hey, let's get to work.
That's right.
We hit some more balls. And that mentality was probably just what Joseph needed. So I say that to say the dads they knew enough to know their kid. They knew enough. Obviously, they know the game better than most. But it was, to me, their level of trust was really, really high. And I think all the parents that have trusted me with their kid, especially yours and others. Dixon Owusu, trusted us with when we met Alvin and
Mm-hmm.
Trav back in the day. So I shout out to the tennis dads and moms
Yeah.
out there, but especially ones that played tennis that knew what they were doing, and were happy to take a step back and watch their kid,
Well, both
from
are
afar.
really hard jobs, right? Being a parent
That's
is
right.
hard, being a coach is hard, and sometimes
Right.
the best thing you can do is try to do your job well and let someone
Right.
else take
That's right.
over the other
Others.
one. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you made a really good point, Tori, which was that my dad also knew how great Will was, and you were, and Henry was, right? And I think just thinking for myself is like it's a tough ceiling because if I have a child who wants to play tennis, I hope you guys are still around coaching because I need you guys, because you guys set the bar too high. If it's you guys,
Well,
then
Well,
you guys can have full reign.
Torrey keeps moving further north and north, so it makes it more and more
yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be in Chattanooga by the I'll be in Clemson by the end of this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.